Vergata's legs were found in a plastic bag at Davis Park on Fire Island's Blue Point Beach on April 20th, 1996. Her skull was later found off Ocean Parkway near Tobay Beach, but her torso and hands have never been recovered. If accurate, Ray's witness statement regarding the 1996 encounter would provide the last known sighting of her. The attorney said, quote, "Nobody saw her alive after she left jail in February of 1996, except now the people we've mentioned," unquote, Ray said. Quote, "Their recollection is that it occurred around Valentine's Day, this tryst, and Karen was in jail up until approximately that time. We're just not sure if it was exactly Valentine's Day or just around that time, but she was never seen by anybody after that," unquote. A different witness who did not provide an affidavit claimed that she, quote, "serviced Huerman more than 20 times and that he was a serial user of Smeg's workers. Quote, "He would sometimes have them come 2 at a time to his house and his wife was home upstairs," Ray says the witness told him. Asa Ellerup has not been accused of any wrongdoing by police, but Ray says his witness testimony claiming that she was aware of and possibly complicit in his sordid sexual exploits warrants police taking a second look at her. In a press conference shortly after Huerman's arrest, investigators said they believe she was out of town when the unalivings of the Gilgo Four were committed. Hairs belonging to Ellerup were found on at least 3 of the women, helping to lead detectives to Huerman. But speaking with the press, Ray said he doesn't see how it's possible to ignore or refuse to investigate Ellerup in light of the purported evidence he's uncovered. Quote, "She's certainly in the mix from the evidence we have, certainly as to allowing Smeg's workers to serve her husband in her house while she's there. And this goes on as a serial event over the course of years," he claimed. Then, in that tiny little house, how can Smeg's workers make their way into the basement to be with Rex and the wife not noticing them? There's no way you can go that you wouldn't notice it. If they walked in around the side of the house to the back, or if they walked into the front door to get downstairs, either way, she would have to have noticed it. And it's not like one person showed up once and this was an isolated event. Rex had a serial 27 years of spending a fortune on 304 work in his home. He added, "So of course she's got to be in the mix. She's got to be a suspect. If she's not, something's wrong with the investigation." Quote, "I don't know what they're really doing in the investigation. That's not necessarily my duty to know, but maybe they are looking into her. But if they aren't, they certainly should be. They can't avoid that." Bobby Macedonio, an attorney for Ellerup, has been contacted for comment about Ray's latest claims. When the press spoke with Ellerup outside her home in September, she said she was so disorientated and shocked by her husband's arrest, she didn't know where she was for days on end. In a statement after his press conference last week, Macedonio called Ray's allegations a, quote, "desperate attempt to keep himself relevant in a case that has nothing to do with his clients." Oh, yeah? Huerman has so far been charged with the unalivings of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. He is also the prime suspect in the unaliving of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, and charges in that case are expected to be forthcoming soon. Rex is also being investigated in connection with the unaliving of Carmen Vargas, another Smex worker strangled and discarded at the side of a road in Freeport, New York in 1989. Other police departments around the country are currently combing back through cold cases in search of a link to Huerman. The 60-year-old architect has pleaded not guilty to all charges. The other little tidbit that isn't mentioned here is when that woman, the banker, went with her NYPD boyfriend from the La Trapeze Swingers Club to Huerman's house, she said that Huerman's wife, Asa Ellerup, refused to have an encounter with her because she's black. But that the black woman says that she probably, I think what she's saying is she did hook up with Rex, and that Rex hooked up with her boyfriend as well. What on earth? How do these people have so much energy to go to work full time and have all this dough, and they're doing all this? They're married, they've got 2 kids, and I think one of the kids is special needs, and everybody's in the house. Right? People are talking about the wife being home, but where were the kids when all these antics were going on? Sleepovers? What on earth? Oh, you don't even want to know who else lives in that area. I'll give you a little hint. It's some man of the cloth who bankrupted their little corner of, the archdiocese. I'll get into that next. But that dude apparently lives in the same area as Rex Heuermann. And I went through a period of time thinking, they're setting up this Rex guy as a patsy to take the fall for, a lot of activity that may be connected to a ring of sorts. And that may just be a theory, or it may in fact turn out to be fact. But I can see that Brother Man, the police commissioner, he's done. He's like, oh, okay, well, I moved the ball down the field. Y'all can have it back. See ya. It's too corrupt. It's too much. And I think the facts of the matter have to be worse than what's being reported in the press. But if anyone knows, if you know any of these characters or characters of this type, then you know how, on the one hand, it's not just like, oh, power corrupts. I have so much power. I have lethal force at my command, and I have all these homies that are the same. It's not just that. It's like, how do you social climb within circles like this? How do you make sure that people trust you? You can't be trusted if you don't get your hands dirty, right? How is this guy? Is he the best architect in the world? How is he making all this money through government contracts? In my opinion, right? Working for the city as an architect. He's not designing casinos in Las Vegas. He's not designing beautiful houses. It's like, what is he designing? Like the shed for the sanitation department? I don't know. But when you hear him talk, you're not overwhelmed by charisma. When you look at the pictures, this big ogre Shrek of a guy, you're not overwhelmed like, ooh, girl, he hot. No. If he didn't have dough to spend. Anyway, these are just my thoughts. But, I'll be very curious to hear the other LISK homies on this platform and what they have to say about these latest twists and turns in the story. And about the police commissioner ankling it. He hightailing it out of there. He's like, I've seen enough. I've learned enough. I've helped enough. Goodbye. Let me know what you think.